Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindfully Curious podcast. My name is Steph, and I am the facilitator for this space where conversations about life, aka the human experience, and creativity. I love holding this space for conversations. First, because I love listening to people's stories. Stories are so valuable for our human experience. They convey so much, specifically context. I think a lot of us as humans, we go through a lot of the same things. We have the same range of feelings, and when we share that context of what we're feeling and going through in a conversation, I personally find that so healing to know that no matter what I'm going through or what's going through my head, there's probably been somebody somewhere at some point that has gone through something like it. And getting to hear somebody telling the story is so inspiring and just helps me feel reassured that I am not alone. And for some reason, that makes me feel better. Some people say misery loves company. However, I don't think that's the vibe here. I think it's more a vibe of how do we empower and nurture ourselves to create the world we want to live in, the things we love to be involved in. How can we create more of that? And that is why I love hosting this space. And this love of mine with creativity really does translate to everything I do. Whether it is the way that I schedule my day, structure my workouts, my meals, how I live as a woman, how I am as a fellow human being, a sister, a coworker, a creative. It really does permeate every section of my life. I think that sharing these kinds of conversations is very healing, and it really makes me excited about the future because I see patterns in the way we live our lives and the way we build relationships with our creativity. And the most exciting part of this process to me is what it yields. Because to me, the more I engage in the creative practice, the more I commit to continue to engage in that practice of allowing myself to be open to ideas, to brainstorming, new ways of thinking, new people, new places. And I think I want to focus on the allowing myself to be open, because I think it's very easy as a human being living in our more modern culture to think about all of the things that are scary and wrong and not so friendly or inducive to feeling safe. And I think a lot of us need to feel safe in order to start practicing new ways of being, new skills, a different way. But trying something different during really uncertain times, which I don't know about you, but I really do think that right now could qualify as really uncertain times. To be honest, every time would qualify as that. But we're going through big shifts, big things as a human race. And I am committed to developing this ability to hold space for creativity to flourish, for people to talk about it, for people to nurture the skill, for people to feel empowered to try something new. And speaking about trying something new, I just want to give an example of something that happened to me this week. I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I would say, with emotion. I had to reflect a lot on why this was happening, and the thing that was coming up for me is that a lot of grief or reflections on grief are coming up for me, and they usually do around this time of year because one, it's spring, so it's really easy for my body to know that this time of a year feels, smells, looks like this. And I guess I kind of relate that to 20 years ago. Mother's Day was the last time I got to see my mom in the physical form, because 20 years ago, the day after Mother's Day, is when I moved from my hometown in Mexico to the United States all by myself. And unfortunately, a couple months after that, my mom passed away. So I was not able to see her after that. So I think that I tend to feel overwhelmed by emotions around this time of year. Often it's something that I've noticed, and it's funny that in my awareness or my mind, I might not be keeping track of, oh, it's about to be, 20 years, the anniversary of my mom's passing, but my body knows, and it kind of is showing me that, or at least this is how I'm interpreting the whole thing, by bringing up these emotions that to me at this time don't really make sense, because I don't really have anything going on in the present that would cause me to feel that way. And to be honest, when I first started getting overwhelmed with emotion, I was like, WTF is wrong with me? Like, what's happening? I mean, everything is going, I don't want to say everything is going great, because I'm not like bragging or anything, but I don't really have anything that should be hurting me like this. And there's value in reflecting and just really listening to yourself and opening up, even when it's not super comfortable or great, because this can be a little bit uncomfortable. But the cool thing is we can do hard things. And one last thing I want to share on this point of following your creativity and listening to yourself. After noticing that I was overwhelmed, I decided to start an intervention of self-care to give myself what I needed to go through that hard moment. So one of the things I did was follow the advice of Brooklyn Willarth. She was a guest in one of our earlier episodes. I highly recommend you check her out. We talked about self-love. And one of the ideas she mentioned and offered was taking yourself on a date. And that was something that I hadn't really done in a long time. So I had a date with myself last week. So what I decided to do was have a beach date with myself. I got some iced matcha on the way back, and it was awesome because the universe totally had my back. When I got back to my house, I had a couple packages waiting for me, and I was so excited to open them up. The first package was I had ordered some tribal markers, and I was so happy to just rip those open and start drawing all over myself with them. It was great to go to all of these neighborhood events because in North Charleston, where I live, we had an arts festival this weekend, and it was nice to go to all of these events with all of these tribal markings that I drew on myself all over my legs and arms, and I had so much fun using them. The ink is amazing. They're not a sponsor, but y'all, if you're looking for body paint, tribal markers, they rock. And they sent me this beautiful pouch with like a beautiful charm, and they wrote my name in beautiful calligraphy on it. My goodness, it was so beautiful. And then I had another package on my porch that I got to play with. I had ordered a new musical instrument. It's a wind instrument. I'm gonna butcher this name, but it's called a didgeridoo. And I right away tried to use it. Turns out playing it is kind of hard, but here we go. All full circle. The importance of doing things that are new to you and make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that being said, I'm going to do something that makes me really uncomfortable, which I'm going to try to play it just here really quickly. So if you're wondering what the fuck is a didgeridoo, well, here you go. And it's probably going to sound like a fart because I'm still training on it, but here goes nothing. So that's what that sounds like. And anyway, if you are feeling overwhelmed, highly recommend taking yourself out on a date or just doing things that are going to make your cup feel full. And that is a great segue into what Chad and I will be talking during this conversation. First of all, Chad is an amazing human being. He is an LA native who's not only a staunch hip hop head, but a classically trained musician. He's a recording artist, a songwriter, lyricist, and a composer. And we are going to be talking about his creative process and the parallels that I see with my creative process and other things that I've seen and experienced. We talk about tools and practices, rituals that have really helped him show up for his creativity and how important it is to be flexible, mind, body, soul, how important it is to take care of yourself, mind, body, soul, and how we see that reflected in our creative practice and our overall satisfaction with life. I love talking to Chad, and it was so beautiful. I had never talked to him in person before, and I love how the conversation flowed. He was such a good sport. I was pretty ornery during the conversation, and I am so grateful that he was able to join me as a guest. If y'all find the content of this podcast dope, you're vibing with it, or you think somebody else that you know would vibe with it, please make sure you connect with Chad, myself, Sada Collective. Give us some love. If you have a chance, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps the show increase our visibility and therefore help us keep the game going. Bring you more content, make dope stuff we all can enjoy together. All right, everybody, much love, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
I am very well. Happy to be here with you, Steph, on Mindfully Curious. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I prepared you for this question. I like to open by asking the guests how you got to be here, be your magical self that you are today. How did you get here? No
Um,
pressure.
no, of course, no. So with a consistent grind and hustle, that's the cliches thrown out, like I mentioned, in with the collective that you work with, but I really mean that to not give up is worth more than it means in its value in words. But um, I persisted. I went to school for music, and um, after kind of gambling on myself, um, there's so many risks that come with we don't like to talk about, especially in the artist world, the losses and the self doubt, even mental struggles that come with that. But
Yes.
I go through a lot of what we show is the wins on Instagram, and what's not seen is the emails where they pass on the bookings. And I think that one has to kind of ride the highs with the lows, and once you find a way to in which way you manifest it yourself. There's no wrong or right way to meditate. It's just being well measured and whatever you use in practice to help you navigate these ups and downs and these storms in a healthy way. To each his own. But it's essentially just about believing in yourself and then just knowing that it'll be for you if it's meant there.
So much gold right there, man. Don't give up on yourself. And that last thing you said, I kind of just like blanked out because just saying don't give up on yourself, that's a huge thing that I feel most of us, at least in my experience, I'll speak from my experience. I gave up on myself. I've given up on myself so many times throughout life.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
And every time I figure out, oh, wait, it happened again. Oh, I'll go back to, just being devoted to myself. Because let's be honest, who else is going to be here for me for the rest of my life, right? For sure,
True.
me.
True.
So, how long has music been in your life?
Music has been in my life my whole life. Um, I've been in the church my whole life. And then I started creating music on my own in my adulthood. But I've always been around. I even went to music school, so I've always been around music. But yeah, started making my own stuff. I would say about 3 years, 2.5 years, between 2 and 3 years ago, somewhere in there.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, you didn't start making your own music until recently. That's really dope to have a recent discovery. How else did like creativity manifest itself in your life growing up?
Um, well, in my upbringing, it was never shied away for out of the box thinking. I actually encouraged was to be different. So, and not just music, but in dance and fashion. I even was, I was one of those. I think before it was cool when the fashion was in the baggy things, I would wear, like sandals and cargo shorts. I like to push the envelope when it comes to challenging norms, and I think that I don't mean necessarily gender norms, which I think everybody goes to. I mean just society norms, like blacks or just males or just bravado, machismo, masculinity. That stuff can be toxic. Having to subscribe to like baggy clothes or that kind of look and stuff like that. So I was always encouraged to, what I mean, be yourself. And if I didn't feel like wearing that stuff, I didn't. And actually, I didn't most times. So I think that just having a I don't want to call it liberal, maybe a liberal, but just a household that inspired or supported out of the box thinking, unorthodox thinking, always let me manifest myself and creative. And like I said, even like the way I dressed or my choice of music, all that kind of stuff.
That's really cool that you were given that gift by your upbringing of being encouraged to express yourself through any medium that you saw fit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so when you started making music, how did that come about? Because I mean, I don't know how old you are, but it has been like, let's call it a recent discovery. Like you haven't been doing this since you were like 7 or anything. So how did you find this was something you wanted to become devoted to?
Um. Well, being around musicians and being in studio sessions, I never thought that I would make something myself. At some point, right after college, you know how those parties go. Everybody's freestyling and whatnot, and they're just having a good time, having fun. But you know what? I thought that I was better than everybody, even though we were just taking it, as a joke. I thought that I was better than most. So going to a studio, I was fortunate enough. All this stuff is almost circumstantial, as if God was guiding my steps. But I was able to. I know most people in that stage have to pay for studio time, but I was able to get into a studio and fortunately utilize that space and develop my sound and craft my voice and get to a level where I was finally okay with being vulnerable, putting that stuff out. So after taking it as a joke and having the means around me to take it serious, I did, and here we are.
Man, that's so beautiful. And again, so many golden nuggets. I kind of start being like curious about this thing that maybe I'm good at, or maybe was it that you were good at, or was it something that you liked? Did you just click, when you started flowing, you were just like, oh, as I imagine one must feel when they try surfing. I've never tried it, but I see people that just make it look so fucking easy.
That's pretty good. That's true. I agree. I have no idea, but it's like hopping up on a surf. I don't think I would even be able to stand up, but they should. They look like they, you know what I mean? It looks like it's easy, but I'm sure it's
And you won't know unless you try. So that's dope that, whatever forces brought you to try to freestyle. Cause I know you said, oh yeah, everybody be trying to freestyle at a party. And I'm like, I've never tried to freestyle at a party. So not everybody
not.
tries that.
Oh, okay. We got to get you to loosen up. We got to get Miss Steph to loosen up.
Oh, I mean, I totally could try it, but I'm just saying, like, you probably just kind of had it in you.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So you start making music, you feel like you're starting to find your style. And I love something you said. You said it was good enough for me to put it out there, to be vulnerable. And when I heard you say that, I felt that's exactly how I feel with paintings. Because when somebody asks me, how do you know a painting is done, especially if it's an abstract? Well,
Yep.
exactly like that. I'm like, okay, from this point on, I feel like I would be okay sharing it. And anything afterwards
Mm-hmm.
is just gravy.
This is gravy. You get it. You took the words. I mean, you said it beautifully. That's it. I think that tracks or things like that can be done before. I mean, once you put vocals on it, some people can call it finished. But there's a level of when you're ready to be, uncomfortable. Like it's not even just mine privately. It'll always be my baby. But once you put it out, it's kind of like I'm okay for. And like you said, whatever comes is gravy. I'm not looking for a million streams. We're not looking for somebody to, make it. It's just, it's a cherry on top if one person likes it. Whatever happens after that, I'm good with it.
So, what has happened after that?
Good question. Well, we've gone as far as a song now approaching 60,000 streams online. I mean, it's good. It feels surreal. You make your paintings. I don't think you ever consider that, maybe at some point it'll be featured in one of like the Hammer Gallery or something of the sort, Art and Walk, or and when these things happen, because I feel like I've seen your work, and I like it reminds me of like whimsical sort of. I like your approach. But
Thank you.
and I see big things for you too. But it's surreal. I know we don't make our stuff for that, but I think when it does go up and you see thousands of views on a music video, and you're like, you appreciate the hard work. It wasn't a fluke. We use high powered cameras and capturing equipment and everything, so it can sound and look a certain way. So hopefully it can. But we put the work into it just because we're our name is represented by it. It's not that I do it specifically, you know, hoping I get Billboard charts with this one. I've never made anything like that in hopes of trying to, what I mean. This is my track for the Billboard charts. I've never made one like that. So if one goes, it goes, but never sat up and thought to do that cognitively.
So what I hear is that when you set out to create, you don't make the intention of that creation to have a certain quantity of validation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So if that's not the intention, then what is the intention, do you think, for each creation? Is it each one different? Like, I mean, you can even think about like a
Absolutely.
specific song. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have a song called "Safe and Sound," which is entirely about talking to somebody within late hours and just wanting to make sure that they got home safe. And I have all my songs are actual things that I've gone through specifically in my life. Each lyric is something either sentimental. It all happened. I don't lie in any of my lyrics. So some of the stuff that it's just an expression of what I was in that season. And if that was something that resonated with other people, then like I said, that was awesome. That was great. I think that in this realm, we get caught up on how many streams, and that's validation, because at that point, nobody considers. I'm a musician whether I get one stream or a million streams. You know what I mean? But for other people, maybe they don't stamp that label on you until they see stuff like that. I know people that have thousands of streams and can't tell you a note, can't tell you one note, and that what I mean. But they find validation in other stuff, likes on Instagram, stuff like that. You know what I mean? If that was the case, then a lot of people would be on if it was just likes and stuff like that. So, but no, I have it's an expression of inward and, like I said, slightly vulnerable emotions. And I put pen to paper, and that's my projection. And in that is I give it to the world in my vulnerability, and hope it, and whatever happens, happens.
I love that. And that reminds me of something you said in the beginning, which was you can't miss what's meant for you. And that is so true. The one thing I will say that's like a blanket statement, but I'm very proud of it, is that we all humans share this ability of creativity. Like we all can alchemize our emotions into art pieces, really. And it doesn't have to be a song, and it doesn't have to be a painting. It honestly could be a building, a meal, a baby, whatever.
This is true. Wow, so deep. That's so true. Yep. Expression.
So how do you find the ability in yourself to not limit yourself to, I'm just gonna make this beat that bops and that people are gonna like?
You know what? I've done that. I made a song as a bop because I was in that mode, and it was the summer right before everything I was doing, fun stuff, festivals and clubs. And then and once you see the numbers behind that, it does get enticing. Definitely gets inviting, more so after you, like I said, after you see this kind of song resonating and being reposted more than maybe a song that's like more internal. But I think that if I'm being honest, there's a lane for everybody, and I think that there's somebody that whose whole existence is party music, or maybe something that's considered commercial or whatever. You know what I mean? A certain tempo and delivery with and something that's not terribly deep in the way they attack it. So that way you don't have to, each line is not necessarily a thinker. There's people for that. And I don't judge them. You know what I mean? I don't. An art is an art. Maybe mine isn't necessarily always plastic, but I get it. I don't look down on it. I'm sure there's people, maestros of lyricism, that would probably look at and dissect my stuff and would consider that I'm not the most MC of wordplay. You know what I mean? So there's always somebody that could kind of burst your bubble and look down on. But everybody, it's a craft, and we're all, like you say, we're all humans. We're spirits. We're all just having the same experience, this journey. We're all energy walking around. So who am I to say? You know what I mean? That consistent, easy money, that delivery that you want to keep. That somebody finds home. I can't be like, that ain't real. You know what I mean? That ain't real music or whatever. I can have an opinion on what I feel like. You know what I mean? But I know to myself, I just say that isn't for me, to each his own. But yeah, I would say I do make a conscious decision not to get caught up in the what I call like the radio play, that whole cookie cutter, hamster wheel,
I love that
that.
because by that you're saving your unique magic that you have. Because at
Mm-hmm.
least to me, it's like
Mm-hmm.
if you are going into a creative session and you're thinking,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is exactly what I want to do. Well, that's the fucking flaw
Mm-hmm.
right there because you ain't
Yeah.
telling the force of creativity. That's exactly what you want to do. Like, you foolish if you're thinking like that.
Come on, Steph. You preaching. You got it. You can't go in there with a ceiling or any kind of, like, you gotta have no boxes. You gotta be ready to just, anything that happens.
Hell yeah. So, how do you prepare
Uh,
for your creative rituals when you're going to go record or when maybe lyrics, come naturally and you capture them in the moment? Because I feel that inspiration is almost like a
mm-hmm.
divine happening, you can't time it. But
Mm-hmm.
once you have the inspiration, starting to create the world in it, like manifest it in the real world, let's say, does take work and it takes planning and it takes rituals, hashtag habits. So what kind of habits have helped you achieve everything you've done?
You know what? So there's two sides of that yin and yang. My first, I like to say, is I like to meditate. I do stretching in the morning. I like to clear the air before I do anything. I just kind of breathe. I don't believe in alarm clocks. I do believe, I like that shocking of awakening jars me. That sets the tone to me, and I feel like, for the rest of the day. And I like to be, naturally, even if I'm not ready to wake up, I just like to wake up by my body. But when I'm creating a song, I'll kid you not, I sit in my car and I zone out. I put the song on repeat and I pour myself a drink, could be wine, and I roll myself up a blunt. And I kid you not, I just sit in, and this is a man, I call it a man cave, or I go somewhere. So I'm like, when I say go somewhere, I mean, I'm in the car, but my eyes are closed even, and I'm just playing a song,
Yo,
and it
you
comes to
saying
me.
you drinking and driving with your eyes closed? I'm just kidding, man. Sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It would be, at this point, it would be right. Guinness Book of World, where I couldn't possibly. So I just park. I park somewhere, and so I usually I'm telling you, Steph, I shut it down. I park. I get in the zone, and I just play that song on repeat, and I plug it away. And once I feel comfortable with that, then I wake up the next day and hear kind of what I made just on my, like, phone. And if I like it, then we go from there to the studio. And even then, before I'm recording, because I don't smoke in the booth and all that, I go outside and we still, like, we smoke. We just take in the day and all that kind of stuff, and then go into, like, because it's like a bad cave where I do this recording and stuff. So I just do that, and that's what you guys hear. So there's so many creative steps where I just, nurture that environment. Yeah, that's everything. I don't know how people. I'll be honest, each his own. I don't know how people create sober. If I'm being honest. I know people do, but I don't. I'm too in my head. I'll second guess everything I write at that point.
And I totally resonate with what you're saying about creating a portal. Like, you have this
Mm-hmm.
ritual and And again, this isn't about like what's right or wrong. It's just about how you find
Hmm.
your way to whatever.
Yep.
Ultimately, you probably know that at some point it's not going to be like the cleanest burning fuel. I like to say creativity is my mission. So I am so devoted to it that, believe me, I have had some rituals that, some of them borderline like dangerous, maybe not
Yeah.
healthy for me, especially involving alcohol. Like I used to love drinking tons of wine and painting, and I
Oh
felt like that
yeah.
was the
Oh
only way I could
yeah.
inspire. But I started getting
Oh
really
yeah.
depressed doing that, and at some point, I just
Oh, okay.
realized this wasn't going to be a sustainable way to
Mhm.
connect to something that was just basically
Mhm.
overtaking my life. And I don't mean the drinking; I mean the creativity, because I want
Right.
to be engaging with my creativity all day long. And it's like I can't be drinking all day long. Like I like to do shit, and I hate feeling like I'm going to get in trouble, so I'm not going to, like, I can't even enjoy myself. So I had to find that balance, and it's cool because we got our whole lives to figure this out, It's beautiful.
It's true. Right. No, you're right. You're right. No, I understand that too. Yeah, I can't. It can't be. I can't just go right to it like a bottle of juice or water every time I want to. Get ready to write a lyric. So, you know, 'cause too often people do. And that's how we have these tragic stories. But I
Yes.
understand that. No one is half the battle.
Yes, and finding the balance, cuz there are so like the menu of life's choices that we can do to create portals for creativity are honestly unlimited, because creativity is
Unlimited.
always going to give you a new idea.
Mhm. Mhm. You're absolutely right. Unlimited. I like how you said that.
Creativity unlocks the world of abundance.
Well said. Very well said.
So let's start practicing. So, speaking about the world of abundance, you like to engage in a lot of kind of like philanthropic type of work. Why do you choose
uh,
to do that?
oh man, altruism. I love it. It's such a natural high for me. Uh, Giving back. It doesn't necessarily have to be even seen or like food to a homeless person. Oh man, I love that. I just love it. It's something about it. It's a natural. I feel like if you're blessed enough to do it, you should. I think that everybody has a responsibility, and I think that if you don't feel that way, um, again, I don't judge people, but I don't. I feel like if you're young, you have any sort of platform, and it's the whole cliche: too much is given, much is tested, and I feel like that. If you're blessed enough and in a position to do things and give back, you should. I mean, I do it all the time. Can't even tell you all the time, but it just feels good too.
And those acts of kindness can be so unique too, and you can get creative with them, because I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to go spend time in a soup kitchen, like I don't have 6 hours and to go here. But the thing is, like, that's only a very uncreative way to think about it. Like even just
Yeah.
talking to someone, like just
Oh
really
yeah.
being present for the person that's like taking your coffee order, or like whatever, your Uber driver, like
That,
just really
that's
being there.
true. That's so deep. That's true.
And yo, maybe since you've developed your own medicine of creating music, who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe you sit in their Uber and you're like, oh my God, like I'm having a download right now, like write them lyrics. And then on your next record, holla at that motherfucker.
Exactly. You get it. Exactly. I like the way you think, Steph. Exactly.
So, speaking about inspiration and where that comes from and where it goes, I listened to your music catalog, and I want to say that my personal favorite song was
Okay.
B.D.E. That's what
Oh, I
connected
knew
with
it.
me. You knew it for real?
had a. It's lately. That's everybody. That's been the crowd favorite. That's funny. That's
Oh
hilarious.
wow. All right, all right. So like talk to us a little bit about the inspiration for that because BDE, I just love it because now that I know what it means, I'm just gonna be using this all the
Ah,
time.
nothing gets by you. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, BDE. That's a fun track. BDE is about self. It's in other words, it's feeling yourself, you know knowing that you walk in there, you know. I can get into very specifics if you want, but BDE is a fun track. BDE is a very fun track, and if you listen to it, I think it's even more fun.
Yeah, it definitely is a fun track. I love fun tracks for like hyping myself up. And I feel like
Oh
I
yeah,
need that hype a lot, like I really do.
come on, Steph. Exactly, you get it. Big dick energy is what it's about. That's what it's about.
Y'all heard it here first. BDE is the new WTF. I'm just saying.
Come on, eh?
Can we
WTF.
please get some BDE hashtag Chad over
Exactly. You know
here
what? Let's
shirts?
get
Like
that.
we really
Let's
need
get.
this.
No, that's you know what? The next I'm gonna start promoting that. I have the unimpressible, and you know what? You're not the first to say that. We're gonna start using. We're gonna start putting BD. Shout out, Steph. I'm
Yo,
mindfully curious.
hashtag BDE. Like that's it. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Enough said. We're done here.
Easy, easy money. You know. Oh yeah, I love that track. I love that track.
We need stickers so we can like bomb trash cans everywhere. Like God BDE. I mean, I'm just having a vision here.
You know what? And the sky's the limit. I'm a little shocked that was your favorite, but I'm glad that it. I'm glad that it was. I'm glad that it was.
Yo, you say you were shocked, and earlier you said you knew it. Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing about it. It's been the crowd favorite, right? So I kind of felt like that's what everybody's been telling me, but I thought you were gonna pick something that was like, oh, like maybe not as like for the club,
Oh no, no.
but that was
I love like I think my soul ultimately is like a really rowdy whatever spirit like because every time I hear rowdy music like I just light up like I'm just so happy.
really.
Yeah,
I'm glad to know.
I don't like sad
Glad to know.
music that much. Like I
No,
hate
yeah, no,
country
I don't do
music.
down sad music. No, no, of course not.
And there is a time and place for everything, but like I just prefer,
Right,
just fun music.
right, right. Exactly.
No hate, no hate. It's all love for sure. So now that we kind of talked about the creative process and a little bit about
Uh-huh.
how, I mean, I really think ultimately creativity is an act of generosity. And I really do see the whole philanthropy tied to creativity
Uh-huh.
because it really does like give you like a completely different arena to express your creativity.
Right.
So if you were going to become an advocate for any specific cause, is there like one that just really talks to you specifically or
Well, what's as of late, it's becoming the homeless epidemic in LA. It's just crazy. It's spreading over to. I mean, it's just at all our parks, and it's just so. We definitely need to figure something out. These are people that really just have nowhere to go, and it's just an unfortunate situation, especially with the pandemic also. So we definitely need to find something that I feel like that's the something we need to definitely get behind.
yeah, definitely. It's weird because I recently watched a documentary about the troubled past of California, especially the LA area. The name of the documentary was Penny Dreadful, so it's really not a documentary. It
Mm-hmm.
was like
Oh,
a
right.
it was like a scary show basically, but I feel like it is
Mm-hmm.
close to the truth of what's going on in big cities and it's just really important to address. There's no like I just don't understand where somewhere for example, where I live, it's a peninsula, and the tip of the peninsula, the waterfront, is like millions plus dollar homes. Like it's like insane amounts of wealth, you know? And
Hmm.
then the middle part of the peninsula is literally one of the biggest food deserts in the United States. It
Hmm.
is a super, I don't know. It's just insane to me that this place looks like forgotten. And then that's
Hmm.
what connects the city to the suburbs. And it's just
Yeah.
insanity that people don't think that these are things that we can address, and we should because we can.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. It's just it's not going to be an overnight thing, but if everybody does their part, we can even if it's just spreading awareness, more people involved, the better.
Absolutely. So I heard you say one of the practices that kind of help you balance the yin and yang of life and creativity is meditating. What is your favorite kind
Absolutely.
of meditation?
Well, I do different types. So, not sexual forms, but tantric meditation for like white energy, long for I mean, I kid you not, I can do hours where you'd almost think I'm asleep. I start my day. It's a lot of times I don't have the time to do that. So I like to wake up in the morning and just to do beginner level stretches for 15 to 20 minutes before my shower opens up the lungs. The I have certain positions I'm a fan of, but again, that goes with how long you've been stretching or how far you want to take it. There's a spiritual side of yoga that I don't necessarily subscribe to, but the properties of breathing, stretching, and meditation are those are it doesn't matter what religion. Those are just health benefits that are, you know what I mean? You can't, you gotta. Today, you'd go crazy if you're not doing that kind of stuff. So those are just
Absolutely.
mandatory. I mean, it's like eating an apple. Is you have to stretch and breathe and meditate. Just remove yourself, lose your mind kind of day. Especially in LA.
Yeah, and it feels good to stretch because at least for me, it helps you from getting too like stagnant in your joints, aka stiff. Like if you guys are feeling stiff, please try stretching. I think most of us should be able to touch our toes, right?
Right, at the minimum. At
And
the minimum.
squatting is something that's super important health wise. Like if you can't squat like easily, bruh, you really gotta start practicing for your health.
Definitely. Yeah, I that's kind of stuff. I started. It's therapeutic, just stretching, arms and legs, stuff like that. I actually had a cast on after a car accident for a little while, but after that, I'm going to physical therapy now. But this the stretching and of just getting that mobility, man, feels great.
Yeah, physical therapy is such an awesome resource that I didn't really know was part of the toolkit until I tore my ACL and had surgery on my knee. I feel like if I
Oh
would
wow,
have
how did
known,
you do that?
I was doing Taekwondo, and that was a
Oh
long time ago.
wow,
I think I was like 21 or something.
wow, Taekwondo, check you out. So you know a little bit, huh?
Man, I've been practice. Well, I used to practice that from like age 7 to basically like age 19, 20. And the reason I got hurt
Oh, you're
at
pretty good at
21,
this.
yeah. Well, I mean, not really anymore just because I don't practice it, but it's hard to forget.
Yeah, right. It's like riding a bike.
Hmm. It really is like riding a bike. One time I was at this beer festival and some guy came and started like being really weird to one of my friends, and they were like ultimately tried to like attack us. And it was the craziest reflex. Like I thought I was gonna like die. I was so scared. But my first reflex was just to like kick the dude in the face. I was just like, oh my God, where did
Oh
that
yeah,
come
that
from?
fight. Yeah, that fight reflex. That's what I'm talking about. I like that.
Like it literally was just like a divine intervention because I was frozen in fear, and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, I better run.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, no, you made it out. You did what you were supposed to.
So scary, though.
Yeah, you got to be careful. These people are crazy out here.
I think it's probably going to change a lot after the pandemic. And as a musician, I'm sure that probably created a lot of change for you because performances, I mean, I think at least for me, they would be huge.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually doing the Anaheim Stadium. I did the Gamers Cup. We did some pretty big stuff. So we were. I mean, it seems like right when it hit was at my biggest. But we had. I mean, I had some really big shows. I missed that. I was just considering doing some more shows. I was thinking about coming back, finding a stage.
Yeah, that's gotta be wild. I know for me as an artist, a lot of the fun stuff that comes with have making paintings is that you get to go to openings, and that's not gone completely, but completely changed. So I feel you there.
Yeah, yeah. But it's you're just being safe, so I get it. But I definitely have that itch. It's a whole year. I feel like we missed out on and years worth of shows. So
Yeah.
definitely ready though.
So, do you feel like your style or your approach to your craft has changed through the pandemic?
Yeah, definitely. You have to evolve with the time. Virtual shows and like this. I mean, I imagine beforehand this might have been an in-person interview, but a lot of Zoom calls and Instagram Live, like with like I said, phone calls with radio stations that used to be at the actual radio station. Even concerts. So I've even given some virtual live concerts, stuff like that. But you kind of have to adapt. I mean, it gave rise to a whole new medium, like the versus battle. Those are huge. It's like a million people tune in when they have those. But yeah,
Wow.
you got to go with the times.
That's really cool because it challenges to become creative and come up with all of these new
Mm-hmm.
things. And it's interesting to see what the culture ends up saying, oh, yeah, we like this, and what they're like, oh, well, that's like whatever. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it forces us to get creative. You have to figure out, how you're gonna still be out there, get your stuff out there.
But you do have some like small events coming up, right? I think you mentioned you're going to be in Texas soon.
Yeah. So I'll be in Dallas, Texas for May 4th through 6th for Cinco de Mayo. I have a couple of radio interviews, 97.9 The Beat. I'll also be interviewing with Dr. Word Up on the NLV podcast, an exclusive interview with Jay Cruz on air, and
Nice.
then a performance and meet and greet at a Dallas dispensary.
Wow, Dallas has rec or just medical?
Medical, yeah. So you can just go in there now. They're like ours. So, yeah, you can just walk up in there with your ID. Hopefully, everybody. Actually, when this airs, I'll be in Dallas. So, yeah, Cinco de Mayo is actually Wednesday, May 5th. Cinco de Mayo will be. It'll be fun. My first time in Dallas. It'll be. I've just started pushing out of state doing stuff. They just lifted their mask mandate, so now people can gather and they can actually, if you happen to leave your mask in the car, I'm sure many of us will still be wearing our masks. But yeah, so we're gonna take advantage. It's the number 2 or number 3 weekly uh, city that streams my music. Believe it or not, I don't even know why. Shout out Dallas, but it's always top 5. One of the cities, one of the top 5 is one. Yep, one of the top 5 cities that streams my music weekly. So I want to take a trip out there, to some radio stops and
Yeah,
meet some people,
connect
do
with
a
your
meet and greet.
audience. That's great, man.
That's important. That's important. You got to do things like that. Stay connected.
Absolutely. It fires you up, it fires them up, it creates momentum for everyone, and hell
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Synergy.
And speaking of momentum, you have something releasing out 420. So what is that going to
Check it
be?
out. Steph, you are the right person for the job. Um, Very journalistic. I like the creativity journalistic approach. Yeah, on 420, the music video for Whoa, which I am so happy about. That took a lot, and shout out to the director Juvie, Boss Man, B. Marie the model, my cousin, the driver, Chris Bob. A lot of people came together to do that. It seems so cinematic, Steph. I think you'll love it. Black and white scene, and just very, there's character arcs, captions. Oh man! So I'm very excited about that. A lot of hard work put into that. That releases on 420 on purpose, so people can go get your legal
Yeah.
marijuana. Get your stuff. It's 420 to holiday. And sit yourself down in the house and watch. Whoa, check it out. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Very excited.
Yes, and even if you can get down on the holiday treats, you can still, can people stream this on YouTube or where can they find you?
Yep, you will be able to stream it on YouTube. The song is already out, but the video will be out on YouTube. And that day, I'll have it on my page too. If you just want to go to my timeline and click it, but of course, it'll be on YouTube under Chad Watson, just WHOA. Whoa, music video. You'll be able to find that thing
Hell yeah, 420 is coming up real quick.
real soon. Real soon. 6 days away.
Wow, wow, that is really real soon. Wow, okay. I really need to pay more attention to the calendar.
No, it came fast this year. Like a lot of dates and stuff have been just sneaking up on me. I'm like, I keep feeling like I have weeks for things, and then I look up and I'm like, wow, it's like less than a week away, or a week or something like that. But it's crazy. No, I feel like we're wrapping up April. You know what I mean? May is like, bruh, this year is going by so fast.
Q1 is in the books already, man. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, yeah, yeah, it's a trip.
Well, Chad, it's been a real treat to have you on. I feel like I began talking to somebody I'd never met before, and now I feel like I just made a great friend. So,
Likewise, that's how I feel here as well, Steph. This is definitely the beginning of, I'm sure, a great friendship, collaboration, relationship. And then shout out Sada Collective for, helping put this together, and you supporting with Sada helping you get your show off the ground. And I look forward to telling my fans all about it, where they can come check you out and, working with you guys again soon. This was great.
hell yeah. And I will make sure to have all of your links in show notes so the audience knows where to connect with you, link to your Spotify. And I'm sure we're all going to be sharing clips of your release on 420.
Sounds lovely. You have been a very lovely hostess, Steph. This was a great time. I appreciate it, honestly. I look forward to all of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any last words for our listeners?
Hey, like she said, if you take anything from this, keep going. Never give up on yourself. That's the most valuable thing. Love and creativity. And I'm Chad Watson. Thank you, Steph. Shout out Sada Collective. And I look forward to tapping in with you guys very soon.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Chad. Have the best night ever.
You too as well. Thanks again, Steph. Bye.